in Groundhog Day? A never-ending cycle of Zoom, WebEx, Skype, Hangout meetings? The disappointing reality and feedback from many friends and colleagues is that many of those meetings suck. The good news is they don't have to. Here at SkyeTeam, we've been delivering virtual elements as part of our programs for more than a decade, when all we needed was a good webcam and an understanding of WebEx in order to set us apart. Now, it's lights, it's camera, it's second camera, it's connected iPad, green screen music, and action. And it's like a mini film studio in my office with me playing the role of movie star, camera woman, director, and lighting person. And what does a best boy do? Maybe I'll ask the gaffer. And yet, despite our ongoing investment in technology, this is now just table stakes, the price of entry in our current work from home environment. Eric, Ruby and I have facilitated more than 50 virtual events in the last few weeks. We're obsessed with raising our game and providing the best virtual experience we can for our clients and the participants in those programs. We've pushed ourselves to be even more creative, both in the technology we use, how we increase engagement, and how we translate live activities into virtual-based activities. So as a result, clients are now seeking us out to learn how to lead compelling and fun virtual sessions for their own teams. So here are just a few of the lessons that we've learned over the years, and especially in the last few weeks. Firstly, an effective virtual meeting takes way more planning than a live event. This is not the time to wing it. Be very clear on the structure and what is happening and who is leading each part of the agenda, when you're going to breakout rooms, when you're going to use poll, how you're going to drive that interactivity. And before you go live, always check behind you. Is there someone taking a shower? Google it. It happened. Has something moved in the background? Is your bed made? Make sure that your background is presenting the image that you want to portray. Which brings me to virtual backgrounds. This is actually a view of my desk, and I've seen some really fun and creative uses of photo backdrops, etc. Essentially, you do you, but have a variety available so that you can pick the appropriate image for the level of professionalism or casualness of the meetings that you attend. And by the way, pro tip, you don't need to be literal on a green screen. I worked with a solid colored blanket pinned up behind me for a while before my green screen arrived, and it worked. Recognize that facilitating a virtual event is more emotionally and physically draining, especially if you're the facilitator. You're going to be giving consistently all the passion and energy that you can, and in a 2D environment, you may not be getting the same feedback as a live audience, whether it's laughter or body language, and certainly not the same timed response because of the lead lag than you do live. Think about how you're showing up. Business on top, party on the bottom. Again, you do you, but be aware that your mini screen view of you may not show everything that the widescreen version that your colleagues get to see. Hashtag wear pants. And it only takes one ping from a text message or your phone going off, and your audience and you will immediately see your focus shift to see what's happening. And you may inadvertently bring the entire call and conversation to a halt. So turn off all of those digital notifications, both for your video calls, Slack, and maybe think about leaving them off after the meeting just to give yourself a break. And if you're concerned about screen share and what others might be seeing, another tip is to dial in with a second device, whether it's your phone or your iPad, so that you can prop it up and see what your participants are seeing. The other advice I have is frequent and shortened bursts of lecture versus interactivity, and make sure that you're starting that first interaction within the first few minutes of any meeting. Call on people, and if you have a co-pilot, they can give people the heads up by sending them a quick text or a chat message to let them know that they're being voluntold. Interactivity matters. So does avoiding the same few voices over and over. And at SkyeTeam, we've gone way beyond the emoticons that come with meeting software to ensure that everyone has a voice and everyone is heard. Take regular breaks. Put up a countdown timer clock. Allow people to go make coffee, take a restroom break, or just to go outside and take a photo and look at the sky. They can come back and show you the cloud images, and maybe you can all see pictures in those. And even if your participants can't access video, make sure you keep yours on. Role model the behavior that you want of others. We've been delivering our Tiny Habits program for a global client, and because of bandwidth issues around the world, participants aren't always able to keep their video on for the whole meeting. However, they do switch it on for specific activities and when they are responding to questions. Seeing each other matters. It's how we build and maintain the connection. Mute yourself. No one wants to hear the heavy breather, so make sure your microphone is at an appropriate distance. Nobody wants to hear your sneeze, and as cute as they are, we really don't want to hear the dogs barking. Quick tip, press the space bar for a quick unmute. Make sure you use people's names. Certainly within Zoom, you can rename by just clicking on your photo on your video screen. And one tip I have is for my programs is I will write out the list of participant names and pin it behind my webcam. That way I'm looking at you and I can glance the names at the same time in order to be able to call on people and help them to contribute. And switch off your self view, because looking at the webcam and looking at your participants is important. But let's be clear, you don't take a mirror into your live meetings, so switch off that self-view so that you're not tempted to stare at yourself and worry about your hair and how you look. Zoom is exhausting enough without thinking about, I should have used the straightener, or I wish I'd worn something different. At SkyeTeam, we're pragmatically optimistic that we're going to get back into the traditional classroom and the live team facilitation. But we recognize that it isn't going to be happening anytime soon. And if it does, then hurrah. And even when we are back in the classroom, we know that we will still be using virtual delivery as a key part of our toolkit. I've shared 15 tips, go back, count them, and I encourage you to use those and up your game. And please help us to learn with you. Type your comments below and share the tips that you have to ensure that your virtual events are the best that they can be.